Um, this is a Visconti Homo Sapiens pen. Since its release about a year or so ago, it's probably become one of the top-selling premium pens in the world. I think justifiably in my view. But here we are, let's have a look at it and let's see how it feels. When you pick it up you notice it's a reasonably heavy pen, not outrageously so, but there's certainly some substance to it. The other thing you notice is that the material is quite dry to the touch and feels warm. Now Visconti say the material is slightly hygroscopic, which means it will absorb small amounts of liquid, which is why it always feels dry to the touch, and it's a good positive feel to it. You'll also notice that the appointments are of a very high standard and that they're made of bronze. Now, bronze isn't everybody's cup of tea for the simple reason that it will over time develop a patina. So it won't stay bright and shiny for all of its life. You can polish it till you're blue in the face, but it probably won't retain its shine. I personally like the way that this is gradually developing a patina, and I think it will wind up looking absolutely superb. You'll also notice the very smart clip, which is extremely effective, and the writing Homo Sapiens around the band there. So that's the outside of the pen, quite nice. What's happening on the inside? Right, open it up and we have a look at the nib. And the nib is made of 23 carat palladium. Now this is a metal that I'd only ever come across with pens before, but never used as a nib. Lamy actually use it a great deal to plate their pens, and it looks very nice indeed. But Visconti are the first people, as I understand it, to use to use it as a material for a nib. This is 23 carat palladium, very, very pure, but it's slightly denser than gold and consequently a bit more durable than gold. And how does it feel? Well, I've been using this for the best part of 6 months now, and I think it feels absolutely fantastic. We'll have a closer look at that in a minute. So, we've got a couple of unusual metals being used in this pen already. We've got the bronze for the appointments, the palladium for the nib. Hidden away inside is the ink chamber, and that, I've got to tell you, is made of platinum. And platinum, as you know, is hugely resistant to any sort of attack by acid, alkali, anything. So it will survive the ink extraordinarily well. Right. Another thing you might notice is the way that the cap locks. So I'll pop the cap on there, and there we go. That's completely locked now. It won't budge, it won't come off until you slightly push it in, and up it comes. And this is Visconti's either hook lock or safe lock system, and I've got to say it's extraordinarily effective. What about the filling system? Well, this uses Visconti's power filler system, which is essentially a piston filling system. So we'll just have a quick run through and show you how it works. So you'll get your bottle of ink. There we are. Now, one of the criticisms of the Homo Sapiens is that it's impossible to tell whether there's ink in it or not. There are no sort of glasses like you get with the Mont Blanc or some other pens. You can't see what's going on inside it. So my recommendation would be to fill it fairly regularly. You'll get a sense for how much ink you're using and get an idea of how often you have to refill it. I refill mine once a week. It's never run out yet, but then maybe I don't right enough. So anyway, unscrewing the top here, and that frees up the piston, which you then place the pen in the ink, pull the piston right up, and then push it firmly back down again. And the recommendation is to leave it for 5 or 10 seconds while the pen gradually fills with ink. And so that's had a few seconds there, that's not too bad. And we're just going to screw that back on solidly, so there won't be any accidents, nothing coming undone. And that should be pretty much full of ink now. What is important with the Visconti is to make sure that you take any surplus ink off the grip area being slightly hygroscopic, it will absorb a tiny bit of this ink. Now actually cleaning removes it very effectively, so it's not a permanent problem, but best not to get there in the first place. So there we go. And the final thing is how it writes, and I think it writes absolutely beautifully. The nib is known by Visconti as the Dream Touch nib, and they say it puts nothing in between you and your dreams reaching the paper. Well, I don't know about that. I do know that I've never come across a pen that I've enjoyed using quite so much. So there we have it, the Visconti Homo Sapiens. And you see I didn't lie about my handwriting, it's ghastly.